Hey, this is part 2 of the e.l.f. review. Next thing I got up is the belt. The makeup brush belt. Or you can put other stuff up in here too. And it just kind of goes, let's see, around the waist and it snaps. It holds, I put the e.l.f. brushes in there so you can kind of see. It holds a lot of brushes. And this was $5, I believe. And I don't have a MAC brush roll. I don't have any other brush rolls to compare it to, but real sturdy, just kind of, I think some synthetic leather type material, black. It's real cute and it holds a lot of brushes and you can kind of fold them over if you want to protect them while you're traveling. So that was more what I got it for. I don't know if I'm really going to walk around with it around my waist. And the next thing that I have, which is one of my favorites, is the eyebrow kit. This is really, really good. I've used, MAC eyeshadows. I've used Anastasia. I've used drugstore. I've used a lot of brow powders. And, nothing's really been wrong with any, but it's nothing that I've just loved. This one is one that I would keep buying. See, let's see if you can kind of see it. You put the powder on first. And I got this in dark. And it's pretty light. Like, you look at it and you're like, wow, that's dark. And you just kind of fill in your brows with that. Then it has this little wax that you go over it with. And it darkens it up a whole lot. It holds them in place. And to me, it makes it look really good. Like I said, one of the best that I've had. Don't know if you could really tell too much of a difference. And I would probably recommend dark for most people. You can kind of go a little lighter on it with it if you want. If your eyebrows are lighter. But the color is fairly light. So you don't have to worry about it looking too crazy. And the gel for it darkens it up some. One of my favorites. I got this too. I haven't tried the lashes yet. So I can't really do a review for those, but they seem pretty good. Next thing up is the contour and blush. Now this, it looks a whole lot lighter on the camera, but is really darker than what it looks. And it's kind of like that Orgasm Lugana palette. But the one thing about this, like that, it shows up better than Orgasm on me. Orgasm, you can barely see. And it's just a nice pink blush. And the bronzing powder is pretty dark. Like, if you're really, really light, you probably have to use a really light hand with this. Because, this bronzing powder shows up on me really good. It almost looks like just a smidget darker than my skin. So it'd be probably a perfect bronzing powder for darker people. But for light, you probably go to light hand because it's very pigmented. And look how huge this is. Like, where's that NARS stuff at? I'm going to put, it's about the size. If you have a 6 quad of NARS, it's about the same as that, like the 6 quad eyeshadows. I hate it about NARS palettes. Get out dirty. So, and next we got warm bronzing powder. I got all 3 of the bronzing powder. And you can do a little plastic thing like NARS do. And this one's warm. It's kind of like a peachy brown. And I'll probably try to do some swatches. It's a good highlight for me. Like right underneath the eye. Let me see if you can kind of see it. See how I just kind of brighten it up. Not that I need to be making myself shine anymore. I'm just trying to show the color a little bit. And it's just like a golden color, And this was really pretty. It's not my favorite one out of the bronzing powders, but that one's pretty. Golden, my least favorite, which I actually thought would have been my favorite. But it's just way too pale. So I guess for lighter skin, it'll look like a real nice golden color. But for me, it was way too pale. It just kind of looked like white powder, I guess. But not super white, but like beige powder. So I didn't really like that one too much. So I wouldn't recommend golden for anybody that's really dark. But for lighter people, it'll make probably a really good highlight like that warm did for me. Or even just to kind of warm up the face some. Now, my favorite one was the Cool. And it's the package that they come in. See how cute? Look at Elf that moved on up. And this one, it's the darkest. Maybe that's why I like it so much. But these colors are nice and pigmented too. And that brown could be a good contour color. And it has a mauve, dark mauve color, I guess, right there. And it has a lighter brown. And you can just kind of swirl those in together. This one works good as a blush. So I like this one. And you can also use these separate as eyeshadows if you wanted to. And that's what I said I do for the other quad to make real good neutral eyeshadow palette. So you got 4 shadows right there. You got a highlight. You got a bronzer. There's 4 products that you get for $150. And what is the last thing I wanted? Oh yeah, I just brought a backup one, which I would recommend to do. I haven't pulled this one out just because I hadn't needed it. But for the powder brush, so you can use one wet and with your creams and one dry. And it's just an extra $3. And it saves the time that if you're using them together, so you're not having to put your wet brush up into your dry powders. And it just kind of get rid of that. So I recommend if you're going to use it for foundation to get 2 of them. Now, I'll have one more thing. It's not e.l.f., but I was given a try today, and it's the Boxum by Bare Essentials. It's the black eyeliner. Can you see I have it on right now? I don't know how dark, but it's really, really dark. And that's what attracted me to it. And it glots on really easy. Like you can even get the waterline just like one sweep. Bam. Bam. And it's on. So that's one thing I like. Because most time pencils you got to fight with. And it hasn't been smudgy. I don't think it stays on perfectly, like in the waterline. Not all day. Probably after a few hours you may need to reapply it to get it dark. But I think it works good. I think that was $14 and that came from Sephora. So that was pretty good too. And I don't know, I've been liking most of the stuff that I've been getting lately. But somebody requested for me to do a review of the e.l.f. product. So I just thought that I'll come and let you know a little bit about them. Sorry for all the rambling. I hope it helped a little bit. Just a little bit. Because I know when I was like, what brushes should I get? So I just ordered all 10 of them. Because I was like, okay, $1.50 a piece. If I don't like them, it's not that big of a deal. So the website, eyeslipface.com, and I try to put as much information as I can in the sidebar. And thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all soon, okay? Bye.